All right, guys, we recorded a bunch of stuff 2 days ago. We're re-recording because we were rushed. We've had so many questions that have come in, and we really want to do this past weekend justice. So just so you all know, I got a couple housekeeping things to mention right quick. First of all, next Monday, that's October 4th, 8 p.m. Central Time, we're going to do a live chat to where we're just going to have questions and answers and talk about the weekend and anything else Rivian, so we'd love for you to join us there. It's free to register. The second thing is we have so much to cover in the YouTube videos. As a little bit of a preview of what's to come, we're going to talk about colors in this one. We've got Meridian audio to cover. We've got R1T storage. We're going to do a whole segment on the plant tour, and we are saving the best for last, which is just a segment about the Rivian people, about the Rivian culture, because that's the most special part about Rivian, and we're going to say that for last. So please subscribe if you haven't, because we have a lot of great content coming. That's the housekeeping. I'm going to jump right in. We have so many questions on colors. We're going to talk about exterior and interior. This might get a little long, but I say we go for it, guys, and let's dig deep. And also stick around to the end of the video on this one about colors if you want to hear what we predict will be the first colors off the line. What are some of your top takeaways when it comes to colors of the exterior?
The biggest takeaway and the biggest thing that I can tell the audience is you have to see these colors in person. We all said that when we originally recorded, but it was kind of funny. Actually, Ben Sullins mentioned that in his video that dropped yesterday as well. Mm-hmm. You have to see these colors in person. Rivian has done a phenomenal job with every single one of them, and the pictures and videos out there do them no justice.
Even the Chick-fil-A sauce yellow that we've all joked about in person looked really good. Oh, even with the interior color, and I'm not going to jump ahead, but I think the word that you used, Skylar, was more muted. It wasn't school bus yellow. It wasn't really Chick-fil-A sauce. I would put team yellow into like my top 5, maybe. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, it looked even on the 20s, which are my favorite wheel. It looked good. You know, it didn't look like a Bumblebee or the Camaro from Transformers. You know, it was a classy looking truck.
Mm-hmm. Tracy at once mentioned how the colors really accent the curves of the body. I think in general, seeing the truck in general, this is a little bit aside from colors, but in general, the truck looks better in person. I would describe it as, from the pictures and videos, it's boxy, and that's fine. That's a great style. But it's a little more centered and athletic looking in person. I don't know if that's colors or if it's just seeing it in person, especially that back hip area. The front's obviously going to have that square to it, but it just looks center, more nimble in person, and it's still substantial, so it's a great combo. Compass yellow I had written is awesome in person. I put more dusty than what most of your point and shoot cameras are going to show. Can I get some quick advice on all of the colors? Just fast stuff that comes to mind when I say these colors, because we've had people ask specifically about colors. Go ahead. We've talked about Compass yellow. Tell me the first thoughts that come to mind with white.
Clean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sleek. Just like a tuxedo, like a white tux.
Yep. Yeah, my first thing that came was like sleeper, in the sense that it's like better than expected. Like the unsung hero. Like when you see white in person, it's like, never expected white to look so good. Right. But honestly, I think it's my second color right now. What do you think of with black?
It looked good. There was enough yellow accents in the Rivian badging, and then enough color change in the wheels that it wasn't so black that you lost the design of the truck. Like you lost the shape of it. It looked, there was still enough dimension in the color to get an idea of what you were looking at.
Mm-hmm.
And Kyle, I'm going to say sharp, and especially the contrast with the stadium headlights and the LED bar across the front. People that like black vehicles anyway, it looks really, really good.
It does. Yeah. Only thing I'd add there is, to me, black is the least surprising, meaning I wasn't disappointed. I wasn't overimpressed. It was kind of like the one that met expectations,
Mm-hmm.
meaning that it looked good in person and on what I'd see on like a rendering or a photo. What do
Right.
you think of with Rivian Blue?
How I remember it from the pictures.
Yep.
But it's the most, honestly, to me, it's the most that looks the same in person as it does in the pictures, unless you have the filters or changing the colors. But from a photo to a memory, it's the same.
It looks great. I mean, it's a phenomenal color. It does change with lighting conditions, even in person. And I actually took a little picture because it looks flat from a distance, but it does have some metal flake in it. And I tried to get the right lighting on one of the blue trucks that was there at the event to capture a little bit of that.
I think blue looks awesome, especially if you like blue. I'll leave it at that. It looks, especially, but you have to like blue to get that for sure. Red Canyon wasn't there, but we did see a golf cart with Red Canyon. So we don't have as much insight, but do you guys want to give a 10-second stab at that?
I didn't pay enough attention to the golf cart.
I paid attention to the golf cart, and my first impression was that's an old spec because it looked way more brick red. Like what Tracy said, it looked way more brick than what I'm seeing in even the latest captures of Red Canyon from Breckenridge. I'll leave it at that. El Cap, what comes to mind?
Classy. Without a doubt, it looks the most high end to me.
Yeah.
If that's an apt description. I mean, it has a ton of metal flake in it, and it really shimmers in the light. It looks really, really good. That was the one that surprised me the most in person.
It was what I configured from day one. The one thing that I would come out and just add to that is that it looks awesome in full sunlight. I think it shines the most and is the most brilliant part of that metal spec, but it really kind of shows off in full sunlight for sure.
Yeah. Well, with that said, I hope LA Silver is next.
LA Silver, go for it. Yep.
So I think silvers can be boring, and silver's a great color, especially to hide dirt and whatnot. But the shimmer and just the overall pop of LA Silver in person struck me.
Right.
And it was kind of, I guess, maybe the second most surprising to me.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, there definitely, at least with the LA Silver, it seems like there's a ton of depth in that paint. Silver is literally my least favorite car color because it's just, it could be so boring and so dull, but Rivian did a great job with giving this paint some depth in order to and to carry it.
That brings me to forest green, then we have launch green, then we have limestone, so we're ending with the greens. Tell me about forest green real quick.
Looks amazing on the truck. It's been one of my favorite in pictures on the truck. But once again, another, I would put it number 2 on the classy list of colors. So right behind El Cap, it just looks very, it looks sophisticated, and I think the forest green suits the truck better than the SUV. But RJ said that he loves the forest green on the SUV.
It looks like it should. When I see it, maybe a high end, I would expect it to be like the King Ranch of the F-150, like the King Ranch of the Rivian. You know what I'm saying? Like you would see a cowboy with boots. Skylar with a cowboy hat and boots would get out of that looking sharp.
Yeah, kind of like a flagship color for Rivian for sure.
Right. See, I was thinking Jimmy in his high heels, but whatever.
So we didn't get to see launch green outside, but we did see it in the factory under great lighting. And first reactions to that, top of the head.
I like it. I mean, it's got the I would say it's kind of a dull shade, but then it has the metal flake in it. So even though it's not a vibrant shade of a color, it still pops.
For me personally, it's too utilitarian. There's no configuration I think that I would like personally between the wheels and launch screen that just wouldn't make it look like it would have a FWC, a Florida Wildlife Commission sticker on the side. And I'd be driving around state parks.
But let's end then with Limestone. Most of you know by now, we didn't see it. We looked for the Limestone golf cart. Limestone golf cart was not there. But we did see like a swatch that's like a foot by a foot or 12 by 18 or something like that, you know. It's really hard to judge from a swatch. It's like trying to pick paint colors. You never really know until you have it up on your wall. But do you guys want to offer comments about Limestone?
Yes. So first and foremost, I think that there may not have ever been a Limestone golf cart. I mean, we've seen El Cap confused for Limestone. We've seen Launch Green confused for Limestone. I mean, it just all depends on the lighting conditions.
Yep.
So
I did see a Launch Green golf cart, but not a Limestone. Yep.
Yes, and from a distance, it looked gray at times.
Yep.
So, but with regards to the swatches, so the swatch that we saw on the wall of the colors and materials booth, it was probably 12 by 12, maybe 18 by 18 inches, but it looked great by itself. However, the way that they had the colors organized, I would have loved to have seen Limestone in between LA Silver and El Cap Granite, just to get that relative perspective on it. But like you said, we won't know how it actually looks until we see it in real life on an entire vehicle.
Can we end this with interior colors? And I say end because we've been going for a little bit. There's only 3 options. Let's go through those top of mind thoughts with each one. Let's start with Black Mountain.
It's like a hug. Just looks good. You know, it's one of those colors. Black goes great with every exterior color that Rivian offers. And that's it's not even safe. I mean, it is a safe color, don't get me wrong, but it's one of those things where it just looks good. Even the wood trim with that stain that they used actually looked really, really good.
Yep.
Yeah, I prefer dark interiors, and there's no way that I'm moving off of black, but the wood in person from straight on has more character. You can see the grain better than in a lot of pictures and other renders that I've seen. So that's a good thing. The other thing that I'll tell people is that the seats are not like the black leather is not as black as the leather in my GM truck.
Right.
For kind of like the one that's a single color palette, like no kind of second color mixed in, it still is not bland. It still has enough to offer some contrast in terms of materials for sure. And then character. And then don't forget that you have like some metal in there too that really helps give little pops of design where you need it. Then tell me what you then thought about Ocean Coast.
I liked Ocean Coast way more than I thought that I would. And it is, number one, it looks white in a lot of pictures, but it is light gray. And it's a very light gray. But my biggest fear is I've been in other light colored interiors that are just too bright. There's too much light reflecting, and I don't get the same like comfortable, calm feeling that I do in darker interiors. But in the Ocean Coast, I didn't have that. So I was impressed with it.
It did look very clean, a lot more gray than I actually even remember being on that white R1S there in Austin. But it did look really good. Even with the contrasting wood, which was a little too like a 1980s kitchen, like pickled like pickled cabinet doors. You know what I'm talking about, like a pickled stain. But I mean, it did look good.
I think it looked good. It's been in my configuration since the beginning. There's always a lot of questions about will it clean well. So that's one thing we haven't said here. We've been assured that it will clean well. So the big surprise was Forest Edge. Take it away with what you thought about that.
Yeah, I think it was you, Kyle, that said that somebody had told you, I can't remember who it was, that there was more gray in it.
Tony told me that.
Well, yeah, that's right. It was Tony. But once I saw it, I mean, it's totally right. I mean, it looks, there's a lot more. I mean, you're a color guy, Kyle. I mean, it probably would be a lot easier for you to describe it. There was definitely more gray in the green than green.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's really hard.
It is, because even looking at the pictures that we took, you still see the green in the pictures, but in person, it just doesn't register as much as green. And the first thing I saw, I love how the screen looks in Forest Edge with the actual wood panel. And then, Scott, I'll kick it over to you, but by far my favorite wood is the Forest Edge, which is kind of that traditional stain, and it looked like more like a reclaimed wood, you know? I loved how the screen sat in there. But that's what we were in with Compass Yellow.
Yes.
And, you know, I really necessarily wouldn't pick those two together because it sounds like, you know, we've said hot dog condiments before. But it didn't come off to me as green. Really, the wood stole the show, and everything fits really well. Wrap us up with that, Skylar.
You guys have already said it. It's not as green in person as it looks in pictures or in the configurator. So even with that Compass Yellow, the green interior, I mean, it did look gray. There is a hint of green. The wood, far and away, the medium wood is my favorite. I actually wish that I could get it in the black interior. I think that would be interesting looking contrast, and Jimmy disagrees with that, but that's fine. And no, the other funny thing is, even though that exterior yellow with interior Forest Edge was almost a combination that was blocked, it didn't look bad. As a matter of fact, RJ, he said when he saw that combo, he was like, who ordered this? Like, there was a Rivian person that ordered this for one of the demo trucks. Who did it?
Yep. And it works. It pulls it off. So
yeah, it does.
Yep. We noticed that when we went through the factory, we saw a lot of colors. Does this give us any predictions of the colors we think will come off the line and ship first? Or is it just what we happen to see in the lines when we were there? What do you guys think? And what are those colors? Skylar, you had them down in your head for sure.
Yeah. Well, so I know the ones that were in the factory when we were there. And there was, far and away, on the line itself, there was tens of the launch green.
Yes.
So I don't know whether it was 30 or whether it was 50, but there was a lot of launch green.
Yep.
In the factory, we also saw white, we saw El Cap granite, and we saw blue.
Yep.
And I think that's it.
Yep.
It was ridiculous how many launch green R1Ts were at some point of the build in the factory.
Yes. All right, last thing. This is going to be rapid fire, and I'm not even going to vote. Maybe I will. I want you to tell me the first interior color that comes to mind as the best pairing when I say LA silver.
Black Mountain.
Yeah, black.
Black, okay. I was waiting on you.
I mean, do you want me to answer that to every single one, Kyle?
Yeah, we're doing it to every one because we've had several questions that are asking about pairings.
Oh,
so this is opinions only, but Black Mountain, I would say the same thing too. Glacier White.
Black.
Red Canyon.
Forest Edge.
Ooh. I'm sticking with black.
Midnight.
Ocean Coast.
I think I'd go with the light interior with the black exterior.
Rivian Blue.
Black.
Ocean Coast. Limestone.
Black.
Black. I don't.
Black for me.
I don't. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That's an interesting one because that's one that came up. So somebody was wondering how the forest edge would look with that. And to me, limestone is gray with green undertones. And the forest edge leather is gray with green undertones.
Yep.
I think it might match too much.
Yeah.
Not enough contrast.
Yep. Forest green.
Ooh, Ocean Coast.
Ocean Coast.
I'm going to go forest edge, which is interesting, but Ocean Coast does look good with it. El Cap. We already know mine here. Mine is Ocean Coast, obviously.
I want to say Ocean Coast, but I'll be different. I'll say black.
Yeah, I can see that. Chick-fil-A sauce. Compass yellow.
Forest
Black.
edge.
Forest edge.
Wow.
I really liked it. I thought it was surprisingly good looking.
And then launch green.
Forest edge.
Black Mountain.
I'll go Black and Mountain. Please subscribe, you all, because we will be going into Meridian Audio, the plant tour, the Rivian people next. We'll see you then.